What if The Flash was good? So I just watched the new Flash movie and woof, it is a giant mess. With a problematic cast, weird CGI, and unnecessary amounts of fan service, this movie is pretty emblematic of all the problems that had been plaguing the DCEU, the biggest of which is the total inconsistency in look and tone between this movie and the other Snyderverse films. Wonder Woman 1984 also kinda diverges from this visual style, and I'm not saying that all movies in a cinematic universe need to have the same visual language, but you gotta be cognizant of the overall world your movie resides in. Ben Affleck's Batman looks like a plastic action figure because his scenes are so evenly lit. The main problems with The Flash are the bad CGI and the terrible humor. It's like the filmmakers either didn't know The Flash or didn't like The Flash and were only told that this is the comic relief character, so they made him kind of a bumbling fool. The Flash is an inherently tragic character, and humor is more of a coping mechanism. He's also supposed to be super smart, and I know people love to make smart people socially inept, but it's a really tired trope in movies, and the Snyder Cut version of The Flash actually does it well by hinting at his neurodivergence more than just turning him into a cartoony idiot. The plot, once you take away the stupidly convoluted action scenes and dumb gross out humor, actually has legs. Like, there is a good idea somewhere in there. What I'm gonna do with this video is pitch what I would have done differently if this theatrical version of The Flash was handed to me to rewrite. This means I'm not just doing my ideal Flash movie, that's a different movie. I'm only trying to rework this movie, keeping the prequels in mind, and see if it can be made into something comprehensible and actually enjoyable. So, let's get into The Flash. Let's cut the opening action sequence. First of all, the whole blobby CGI babies being saved via microwaves and whatnot is just so weird. Like, what is this choice? Why even go here? We're cutting it out. I know most superhero movies, especially these DC ones, love to open with a sequence of our hero being heroic. But it's always a scene that isn't related to anything and doesn't serve any purpose. Let's instead show scenes of Barry and Bruce working together, showcasing how Bruce has taken Barry under his wing and is kind of a father figure to him. If we're getting cameos by Alfred and Wonder Woman, why not do a nice montage that shows how Barry is getting on with the rest of the league? You can do all your fan service here. Diana and Barry can be fighting and subduing, I don't know, King Shark, who is trying to eat fish at the aquarium. You can even show Flash and Cyborg doing something cool, like stopping a runaway train or something. If we can't get that actor for reasons, you can put his helmet on. In between this montage, we can have a scene where Barry visits his father and sort of talks to him about the excitement of his discovery, which is the security cam footage that he's going to work with Bruce to fix. This way you can build expectations, and then when it turns out to be a dud, you can really hammer in the emotional devastation. Finally, you can actually show Bruce and Barry working together to clean up the security cam footage that might absolve his dad. See, this way you can show that Barry is capable and has a pretty good life, but this one thing makes him live in perpetual regret. Stuck in the past, he's unable to enjoy his present success. When the video reveals that his dad never looks up, thus not revealing his face, Barry is crestfallen and has a bit of a meltdown. See, actually playing this scene out as opposed to just having Barry say what happens works to show just how distraught he is and what a giant failure it feels like for him. He has a bit of a freak out, Bruce tries to console him, but he runs off. He runs so fast that he stumbles into the Chronodome and ends up going back in time. In this version, we get to our main inciting incident quickly and hit the ground running, entering the plot, aka the good part of the movie, that much faster. After this, the movie can proceed as usual. Barry talks to Bruce, who warns him of the perils of time travel. He meets Iris and gets inspired to go back and change a small detail. I really like the tomato can angle. It's a good, simple plot device that works well. I don't like what a loser they paint Barry out to be. I'm okay with showing that he's struggling to balance his job and superhero life, but does he really have to be treated with such utter disdain and malice? I don't like that the Flash is the butt of the joke in this movie. Let him be a little bit of a fun guy and actually be funny with jokes and performance rather than being a slapstick idiot that we have to laugh at. Anyway, I like all the stuff where he goes back and saves his mom with the can, confronts himself and tries to recreate the accident to give 2013 Barry powers, and ends up losing his powers in the process. He then sees Zod, goes to find Batman, and meets Michael Keaton. Now, it doesn't make any sense to me that Batman would know how the multiverse works. I get that he could know theories and stuff, but like, in the movie he gives such concrete answers, it's kinda crazy. I also don't get this manufactured conflict of people saying they won't help and then helping half a second later. It's so unnecessary. There's plenty of good character stuff there, with their connections as people who lost their parent, and with Barry 2013 not knowing the truth, that we don't need random fake conflict for conflict's sake. Anyway, we go to Russia to rescue Superman and end up with Supergirl. I really like this version of Supergirl. Let's once again get rid of the fake out where she first says no and then yes just to stretch the runtime of the movie. Once back, they can have a heart-to-heart with Supergirl, who is ready to open up to Barry because he saved her. This is such a great opportunity to really contrast how things can be different based on your life, where Clark Kent fell in the arms of a loving family and grew up to be a very good person. You can show that Kara fell somewhere where she wasn't really wanted and became prey to the foster system and moved from home to home, not having a great time and kind of seeing the worst of humanity more than the best of humanity. And then eventually she found out who she was by going to the, finding her Kryptonian ship, her Fortress of Solitude and whatnot. When she gets there to get all her answers, she's captured by the Russians and taken away. So she doesn't really even get a chance to be Supergirl or something like that. That way the suit can be something that they build together. Anyway, she takes them to the Fortress of Solitude, the Kryptonian ship, where the onboard AI can explain the multiverse theory and can also diagnose that Barry hasn't actually lost his powers, just his connection to the Speed Force. And maybe the Kryptonian technology can be used in addition to Batman's kite to strike him with the lightning and give him his powers back. After this, the movie can go on as usual, with the fight with Zod and the deaths of Batman and Supergirl. On a side note, I did love how campy all the stuff with Batman was. Everything has a silly bat shape and it's super cute and funny. I wasn't a big fan of how the action worked with the Flash, and that's really funny to me considering that Zack Snyder already figured out how to do this shit well. And here they kinda undo everything. I didn't really quite get it. Why do his feet not connect with the ground when he's running? In the Snyder version, at least, when he runs, it looks like he's actually touching something and pushing off. Here, you can see his foot hits the ground and the floor texture actually moves like 5 or 6 frames before the foot lifts off again. It just looks so cheap. I really like the eventual reveal that 2013 Barry goes crazy and keeps trying to mess with time, eventually turning into the corrupted speedster. I don't like that 2013 Barry is also there and sacrifices himself to stop the speedster. I know this is kind of a riff on the causal paradox, but it's also a hat on a hat. This feels like another attempt to stop a superhero from killing a bad guy. But hey, when you're your own worst enemy, is it really so bad to kill off your corruptions? I think you can literally get away with murder here. I think the two Barrys should duke it out in a brutal battle, maybe traveling through time as they go. We can use this opportunity to use the footage from older DCEU movies and superimpose our speedster battle in it. Like the main trio is fighting Doomsday in Batman vs Superman and the Flash's fight pops in and out. Same with the scene in the war from the first Wonder Woman. Maybe do a deep cut and show us a scene from Green Lantern. In an ideal world, it would be awesome to even get a present day performance from Ryan Reynolds, just for fun. And you know he'd agree to do it. Anyway, they can end up right at the moment before Barry saves his mother. Corrupted Flash taunts Barry and tries to plead with him to let him save her and save everyone and try again, when our Flash finally lets go of the past and kills him. The multiverse is no longer dying. Barry unsaves his mom, says goodbye and goes back to his present. His father is absolved because he moved the tomatoes, which I thought was kind of clever, and he meets the new George Clooney Bruce Wayne, and the movie ends, but his fucking tooth doesn't fall off. I mean, what is that? Anyway, that's that. It's basically the same movie but a little more logical and less just a random series of events. Also, this version has respect for Barry Allen rather than treating him like a total joke, and also we get a bit of a twist on Supergirl's origin. I'm curious to see what James Gunn does with the future of DC, but considering that he called The Flash the greatest superhero movie ever made, I won't be holding my breath. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel and leave a comment letting me know which movie you think I should check out next. Also, if you are a fan of my work, check out some of my other videos, including my animated D&D show, which I work really hard on and is fully animated. And if you are looking for ways to support me, please check out my Patreon. There is a lot of bonus content on there and new shows that are exclusive just to the Patreon that are coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.